So 9 distinct strings of random alphanumeric code.
Yeah.
Like nearly 3 hours of unwatched video footage, all carefully compiled just to figure out how to survive between, this Monday and next Sunday.
Right. It's a lot.
It really is. Today, we aren't looking at a stack of research papers. You actually just handed us a single sentence in Turkish and then these 9 super cryptic video links.
And that single sentence is actually pretty fascinating on its own. It reads, well, the Turkish is, Aşağıdaki linkler bu haftanın astroloji yorumlarıdır. Lütfen bu sitlerdeki içerikleri referans al.
Okay, and for those of us who don't speak Turkish.
Right, so translated for our English-speaking audience, it basically means the following links are this week's astrology reviews. Please use the content on these sites as reference.
But here is the massive catch with this.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't give us the transcripts of those videos?
Yeah.
We literally don't know if the stars are telling you to, invest in risky stocks or text your ex or just hide under your bed until Friday.
Exactly. We have no idea what the advice actually is.
Right. We are strictly bound to analyze the text you actually gave us. So what we're really looking at is the architecture of your request. I mean, it's like you've handed us a ring of 9 different keys for this week, but we're standing in front of a door trying to figure out why you need so many keys in the first place.
I love that analogy. It completely forces us to look at the behavior behind the request rather than the astrological advice itself.
Yeah.
Because you are exhibiting a very specific modern behavior here. Astrology, at its core, it's a system designed to provide order. It takes the infinite, terrifying chaos of the universe and distills it down into a framework that helps humans manage uncertainty.
Makes sense.
But by collecting 9 different perspectives on the exact same 7-day period, you are treating mystical guidance the same way a statistician treats a raw data set.
I see what you mean. You're sort of looking for the aggregate trend line.
Exactly.
Like, my initial thought is that this is a quest for consensus. If one astrologer says, expect financial surprises, you might just write it off as a lucky guess.
Right, just a fluke.
Yeah, but if 4 out of 9 say, watch your wallet on Tuesday, that repetition crosses the threshold into statistical significance. You are basically building your own aggregate forecast to find the objective truth of the week.
See, you're assuming the goal is objective accuracy.
Well, isn't it?
I would actually argue it's something entirely different. When we're dealing with the unknown, like the future aggregating data often does the exact opposite of providing clarity.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If you ask 9 different people for directions, you don't get a clearer map. You just get decision fatigue.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that's true.
The human brain simply isn't wired to synthesize 9 competing narratives of reality without suffering a massive cognitive overload.
Wait, I have to push back on that a little bit.
Go for it.
Isn't thorough research the absolute antidote to anxiety? Like, if I have a weird symptom, I don't just look at one medical website.
Oh, the classic WebMD spiral.
Exactly. I look at 5. And finding the consensus across those 5 sites actually soothes me. It feels a lot safer.
Safety is the operative word there, though, not accuracy. Think about the psychological mechanism at play. When we face high anxiety about an upcoming week, our prefrontal cortex goes into overdrive trying to predict threats.
Right.
By gathering 9 sources, you aren't actually looking for the truth. You are constructing an illusion of control.
An illusion of control.
Exactly. It is an anxiety mitigation strategy disguised as thorough research. You are gathering a council of advisors to insulate yourself from the unknown.
But doesn't that strategy completely backfire? I mean, inevitably, there's going to be contradictory advice in a sample size that large.
Oh, guaranteed.
Right. Like, one video is going to say, take bold, aggressive risks at work. And then the very next video will be like, lay low, Mercury is in retrograde, absolutely do not speak to your boss.
Yeah, totally opposite advice.
So how does injecting direct contradiction into your week soothe the prefrontal cortex? I would think that creates just a paralyzing amount of anxiety.
And that is where the sheer brilliance of human psychology comes in. The contradiction doesn't paralyze you, it liberates you.
Liberates you? How?
It allows for confirmation bias to take the wheel. If the advice you receive is monolithic, like just one single forecast, you are trapped by it.
Oh, I see.
If that one astrologer says it's a bad week for romance, you're stuck with that pessimistic outlook. But if the advice is varied across 9 different people, your brain gets to subconsciously filter the data.
So you just pick the one you like.
Exactly. You select the forecast that aligns with what you already wanted to do anyway.
Oh, wow. So the sheer volume of sources actually gives you permission to curate your own reality.
That's it.
You aren't building a consensus at all. You are building a buffet. You just walk down the line until you find the exact dish you were craving all along.
Yes, perfectly said. The paradox of choice usually causes anxiety, but in the realm of mystical guidance, it provides an escape hatch.
Because you're not locked in.
Right. If one prediction doesn't suit your psychological needs for the week, well, you have 8 backups ready to go.
That curation requires a massive investment of time, though, which honestly brings us to a huge disconnect here. We need to talk about the medium housing these predictions.
YouTube links.
Yeah. Every single one of these links belongs to YouTube. You didn't curate 9 short text-based horoscopes that you could just, skim in 3 minutes over coffee.
No, not at all.
You curated video.
Which fundamentally changes the neurological experience of receiving the information.
How so?
Well, reading text is a very active, solitary cognitive process, but watching a video is passive, and more importantly, it's deeply social.
Social, right. And if we actually do the math here, video is a linear, unyielding medium. If each of these videos is roughly 15 to 20 minutes long,
Which is pretty standard for that kind of content.
yeah, exactly, then you have just curated roughly 3 hours of content for yourself just for one single week's forecast.
It's quite the commitment.
It reminds me of, meal prepping for your soul.
Meal prep.
Yeah. You know how people will line up 9 plastic containers of chicken and rice on a Sunday night so they don't have to think about lunch for the rest of the week?
Right.
It feels like you have lined up 9 digital containers of cosmic guidance to sustain you through whatever this week throws at you.
I definitely see the appeal of the meal prep analogy, but I think it misses a crucial element.
Oh. What's that?
Well, meal prep implies you are actually going to consume the food strictly for its nutritional value.
Okay, true.
In the digital age, a list of videos like this is often gathered for the comfort of the creator's presence, not just the raw data they provide.
Wait, explain the mechanism there, because if you just want to know if, Jupiter is moving into your 12th house or whatever, video is incredibly inefficient.
Oh, incredibly.
Right, you have to sit through the creator's intro, their sponsors, their personal tangents. A bulleted list of text is infinitely faster. So why choose the inefficient medium?
Because efficiency isn't what we crave when we are uncertain.
We don't.
No, it goes all the way back to evolutionary psychology. For hundreds of thousands of years, early humans didn't get their guidance from cold symbols on a page.
You didn't have pages.
Exactly. They got it from the tribal elder or the shaman sitting around a fire, speaking directly to them.
Oh, wow.
Our nervous systems are literally wired to respond to the cadence of a human voice, the subtle microexpressions on a face, the sustained eye contact.
Right, all those social cues.
Yeah. So when you watch a YouTube astrologer looking directly into the camera lens, your brain processes that on a very primitive level as direct, intimate eye contact.
The parasocial relationship.
Mm.
Your brain knows you are watching a screen, obviously.
Right.
But your nervous system actually feels like you are sitting right across from a friend.
Yes. The digital age can be profoundly isolating. So you are basically substituting the quick, cold efficiency of a text horoscope for the warmth of human connection.
That makes so much sense.
The medium is the message here. The fact that they are YouTube links tells us that you are seeking reassurance, empathy, and community. When the creator says, it's going to be a tough week, but we will get through it, the we is what matters, not the astrological technicalities.
But there is a massive irony staring us right in the face here.
Okay, let's hear it.
You want the warmth of a human face on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't send us the videos.
No, we didn't get the files.
You sent us the raw cold code that houses them. I mean, the prompt you wrote explicitly says, please use the content on these sites as reference.
Mm-hmm.
It is a direct command to look at the content. Yet the text itself, the actual document we are sitting here analyzing, is just strings of digital ciphers.
And this is where the architecture of your request gets incredibly philosophical.
Yeah.
You've handed us the coordinates, but you've completely blocked access to the destination.
Exactly. I'm looking at these strings of characters right now, like LY-Z48QJQD.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Right. And TKBGDGIQHSS, it literally looks like a cat just walked across a keyboard.
It really does.
As an explicit text source on a page, it is completely closed off to us. We are staring at unreadable code, trying to glean some sort of meaning.
Right.
But in reality, that specific sequence of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and dashes, it holds an entire universe of meaning for whoever recorded that video.
It's true.
It contains someone's voice, their living room background, their specific interpretation of the movement of the planets.
Which perfectly mirrors the ancient practice of astrology itself, don't you think?
Wait, what? The URL as a modern constellation?
Exactly. Think about the underlying mechanics of how a constellation actually works.
Okay.
Ancient humans looked up at the night sky, and what did they see? A vast, chaotic, utterly random scattering of plasma spheres burning billions of light years away from each other.
Right, just random dots.
There is no inherent narrative in the stars, but the human brain is terrified of chaos. So what do? We drew lines between those random dots.
We made shapes.
Yes. We projected our earthly anxieties, our myths, and our desperate need for order onto those completely random data points in the sky.
Oh my gosh. So looking at the string, NBT PXW MVS 0, and projecting our week's financial or romantic anxieties onto it, it's the exact same human impulse.
The exact same.
We are drawing lines between digital data points instead of celestial ones.
Precisely. Both are just systems of pointing. The star points to a mythological meaning that helps us sleep at night.
Right.
And the URL points to a server farm in a desert somewhere housing a video file that helps us sleep at night.
That is wild.
But here is the critical psychological twist of the modern era.
Lay it on me.
The pointer has become more important than the knowledge itself.
The pointer's more important than the knowledge. Wait, you mean the concept of digital hoarding?
Yes.
Because I have to admit, I have like dozens of browser tabs open right now.
Oh, same here.
And hundreds of articles bookmarked in apps that I am realistically never, ever going to read.
We all do it. And it's deeply tied to how our memory and reward systems function. Psychologists refer to the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect.
Yeah, it's our tendency to remember uncompleted tasks or interrupted events way better than completed ones.
Oh, interesting.
This creates a low-level, persistent cognitive dissonance. We know there is information out there we need to consume to be prepared, right?
Right.
And the fact that we haven't consumed it creates anxiety.
Okay, so how does bookmarking 9 YouTube videos solve that anxiety if you don't actually watch them?
Because the act of bookmarking short-circuits the anxiety loop.
Really?
Yeah. When you save a URL, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation.
Huh.
The really fascinating part is that your brain gives you the reward for gathering the resource, not for consuming it.
Oh, wow. So you feel a 30 sense of accomplishment and preparedness just by compiling the links.
Exactly. You feel like you possess the knowledge before you've even watched a single second of the footage.
That completely reframes the document you sent us. You're saying the actual astrological predictions might be entirely secondary here.
I am.
Simply by building this specific list of 9 links, you've already taken control of your week.
Yeah.
You haven't even watched the videos yet, but you've built the psychological safety net.
The curation itself is a profound form of coping.
It is so true.
The text prompt asks us to reference the content within the links, sure. But the hidden truth of human behavior is that the list itself is the content.
Wow.
The act of gathering 9 specific YouTube URLs into a single text document is basically a ritual of organization. It's a tangible way of saying, I acknowledge that the next 7 days might be chaotic, but I have mapped the exact coordinates of my survival.
I want to pull all these threads together because this has been such a remarkable journey.
It really has.
We started with a seemingly empty document, a brief Turkish instruction. The following links are this week's astrology reviews, followed by 9 cryptic web addresses.
Just code.
No actual articles, no transcripts. Honestly, it looked like a mistake at first.
And yet, from that minimal, almost brutalist architecture, we uncovered a really vivid psychological profile of how we all navigate uncertainty today.
We definitely did.
We see someone who doesn't just blindly follow a single guru, but attempts to aggregate a council of advisors to mitigate the risk of the unknown.
And we see someone who chooses the inefficient, time-consuming medium of video over cold text.
Right.
Not because it delivers data faster, but because our ancient nervous systems still completely crave the reassurance of a human voice in the dark. We want that parasocial warmth of an elder telling us we are going to be okay.
And perhaps most profoundly, we explored the beautiful irony of the digital pointer.
The URLs as stars.
Exactly. How gathering a list of random alphanumeric codes is our modern equivalent of mapping the constellations. The feeling of safety isn't just located at the destination of those links, it actually resides in the dopamine hit of collecting them. You're organizing the chaos before the week even happens.
You didn't just ask for an analysis of your sources. You actually gave us a mirror, reflecting how we all try to find a little bit of cosmic comfort in the algorithm.
Beautifully said.
But before we finish up today, there's one final, rather uncomfortable question we want to leave you with.
A question about what happens when the curation ends and the consumption actually begins.
Exactly. As you sit down to finally click those links, as you listen to 9 different people look into a camera and tell you what the universe has in store for you this week, are you actually looking for the objective truth of what will happen? Or are you just scrolling through the stars until you find the one prediction that tells you exactly what you secretly want to hear?